We have heard you all loud and clear. My DMs have been flooded from you guys asking about one thing, the recording for the event. Now, it's a hot ask for a good reason because normal people have actually come into our event and have gotten results like this. And actually, your ass have done something really cool. It's helped me convince my team to release this event recording for only 72 hours exclusively here on YouTube. At this point, I really hope that it's obvious that I desperately want to see you win. And actually, another big announcement, Creator College is doing its first ever sale for Black Friday, and we are going big. 50% off on all Creator College related products. If you think an event for free is good, imagine what the Creator College paid experience is actually like. We've never done a sale like this, and I'm sure we're never going to do a sale like this ever again. So if you are interested, you can go and click the description box below to get it before the sale ends. So take a quick second to check out all the options because we've actually even done bundles for the very first time, and everything is massively discounted right now. After that, you can go ahead and enjoy this free event recording. Good luck, guys. I want to do an introduction because I want all of you to garner a familiarity with me because I'm going to be talking my mouth off for the next several hours live with all of you. I am a Korean American. My family immigrated from Korea to the States. Any Koreans in here by any chance? When I was just about 3 years old. And when I immigrated here, I have a lot of fond memories in terms of love that my family supported me with, but in the same breath, we had quite a lot of intense struggle. We went through financial hardship. My mom, who was my best friend, moved overnight to a completely different country, and I lost contact with her for over 10 years. My parents got divorced over the phone. My family struggled with mental health. We had a lot of these issues growing up, but in an interestingly weird way, it made me incredibly strong with my anchor. It gave me a why. It gave me a great sense of purpose. Who in here wants to be the type of person to change your family's legacy forever? Who in here is the type of person to actually make a difference and ensure that your family's future does not look the way that it looks today? Who in here wants to do that? That was me, right? I feel you exactly, wholeheartedly. I saw some horrible things that I really don't want anyone else to see growing up, but that's because of my childhood. And everything that I do is for these people on screen. So yes, you may know me now for 5+ years, getting 10 millions of views all the time. I get it. I have 80, 100 million impressions every single month. So I'm sure you've seen me in some regard in the last few months, last year, last few years. But this is where I am today. I really need you to get that I have been exactly where all of you are currently today. I have. So I was also sitting on these calls and particularly watching my favorite creators. I remember Christian Guzman was one in particular. And I would watch his content and think that I wanted that lifestyle, right? I did. But there's a great sense of insecurity within me, imposter syndrome. Do you feel that way too? You can let me know in the chat. And I never thought that somebody like me could ever win, right? Or my voice would ever be big enough for other people to listen. I was actually a full-time bachelor's and master's biomedical engineering student, meaning that my domain could not have been any polar opposite, meaning that I was literally any engineers in here because we have quite extensive workload, right? So I was in classes, my bachelor's and master's classes simultaneously. I was also in my laboratory settings for 8, 9 hours. I was trying to maximize small pockets of time. It was tough. Now, for those individuals that are completely brand new to content creation, I know that this is unfamiliar to you, and obviously those individuals that have experience, you'll get this. But these posts don't actually indicate the total number of posts that you've curated. They only indicate what lives on your main feed. So if you move something into the Reels tab only, it doesn't count as an overall post. So I was still posting every single day here for about a year, and I was closing in on 5,000 followers. And all of that history is on Social Blade. It's completely public. And I want to show you where I actually first started. It's actually a little bit embarrassing for me to share this, but I want to prove my point that I've started exactly where all of you are today. I saw my head, count up a check. I saw my neck, doesn't come in. I'm a pretty boy, I'm stunning. Super speed Sonic, I'm running. Super speed Sonic, I'm running. So if you know my content today, you would think, holy cow, did you make fashion content? And I did. And I used to chase trends all the time. And I used to think that everyone was supposed to be a fitness or fashion creator. And I thought that I was supposed to niche down, which is one of the worst pieces of advice ever. And I'm going to explain that to you. And these views are obviously skewed, right? When I have millions of followers, of course, they're going to pour into my original videos. But I used to get 200 views all the time. And for the first year, that's what I was doing. But after chasing trends for a while, I really wanted to change out my strategy and make meaningful content. Let me know in the chat right now if you're somebody that wants to make a difference in your life. Like you're somebody that actually wants to service the world, make the world a better place. I believe a lot of these thoughts and desires are inherent to us as human beings. Like we care about our brothers and sisters, our neighbors. And therefore, I had to switch up the strategy. So this is about like probably a year and 2, 3 months in. I'm closing in on 10,000 followers, but I want to change the strategy to actually build a content system, which in turn made it easy to show up. I have not missed a day of posting in 5.5 years. Literally, no one else probably in the world can say the same thing. I haven't missed a day of posting in 5.5 years. It doesn't mean that I'm creating every day. I'm going to tell you the systems behind it, but it made showing up easy. I hit my first 100,000, then hundreds of thousands, millions of followers. I started selling my one-off products. The first one being a digital guide and then a physical book that landed #1 on Amazon's new releases. I made my first $1 million as a student. That changed my life forever. I remember I was in my classroom when I saw the notification that we surpassed $1 million. Then I started a flagship mentorship program based on my neuroengineering concentration, and a lot of this was done through human performance lens. And then I became a judge for a global entrepreneurship competition hosted by Red Bull. So you can imagine Shark Tank on steroids, meaning that I was in charge of an event where 40 different countries competed on a national level and then all headed to Tokyo, Japan, where I was next to AMD and Microsoft and an Olympian as the youngest judge. What was I doing there? Exactly what I'm doing for you today, teaching you about personal branding. How do you make content and make money? Does that sound good to you? You want to make content and you want to ultimately make money in a way that you can be loud, bold, and proud about because it's your product. You should feel aligned to it. You should feel happy about it. That's what we're going to be going over. So today I have over 8 million followers. I have built these fun $1 million creator businesses. I've sold well over $4 million. I've been invited to events. I travel around the world. I'm the co-founder of Creator College. But really my biggest win throughout this entire experience is that I've been able to post every single day for the last 5 years without missing a single day. Again, not creating every day. I'm going to teach you how to systematize this. But I went from being a student to an engineer to an entrepreneur, and my entire human development has been shown through content. It matches that journey. Who in here has been told to traditionally niche down, meaning that they categorize them as a fitness or influencer, or let's say a fashion influencer, or whatever the word may be, tech influencer? It's the worst piece of advice because I'm going to show you this in real time in the chat. How many of those individuals that niche down then are really struggling to pivot, meaning that when you post something different, nobody engages? That is the reality when people that don't know what they're talking about come onto a platform try to teach you content creation because they've never done it themselves. They never had longevity enough to understand that that's not the way. You're supposed to become the niche. Cool. This formula works. I am living proof. I've done it. I've done it myself, and I've taught thousands of creators all around the world. Okay. More proof. If you need it, you can find it. I help creators and entrepreneurs today with content like this. In the last 7 months, I've helped over 2,000 creators personally myself, as in there was no one, as in like, it's not an event like this. Like I've personally helped these people. Normal people, full-time jobs, 1.5 million, 1.4 million, 2.5 million, 1.4 million, 2.6 million, 2.5 million. If that's what you desire, you're going to learn exactly how to do that after the conclusion of today's session. So if you're still here wondering, hey, June, I have too many ideas. I really don't want to niche down. If you're here saying, June, it's too saturated. I don't know how to stand out. If you're saying, June, I don't know how to get views on my content. I really don't think it's worth all this time and energy. If you're saying, June, I don't like to be salesy. I am here to tell you that I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to make sure that you come out of here knowing exactly what to do. All right, does that sound good? I'm going to help you fix that mindset. I'm going to develop you a content strategy. Let's talk about this. I want everyone to follow along here. Everyone tells you that if you want to grow on social media, you need to pick a niche. While this works for some people, for most people, you'll grow out of that one strict niche as you evolve. Instead, you can become your own niche. Again, everyone, once more, say the words, I am the niche in the chat because you are not a travel creator. You are not a fashion creator. You are not a lifestyle creator. You are not a fitness creator. You are not a beauty creator. You are the niche. Instead of thinking about finding niche, think about building a personal brand. And this consists of two parts. One, the message, what you're saying in your content. And number two, your format. How are you presenting that message? How are you packaging it? What's the hook like? What's the story like? What's the visuals like? If you can do this effectively, you'll build the right audience, not empty views. So how do you become the niche? Well, in quick, short, surmised way, every single one of you has a message to present to the world, an ethos to the world, right? You have something to offer to the world. And if you can't find it in yourself, go and ask your neighbor, go and ask your friend and family members and ask them, what do you see in me? What do you go to me for? Is it your positivity and encouragement? Is it your advice around business? Is it how giving you are as a human being? Is it the fact that you want more peace? Is it that you want financial freedom? What is it that people gravitate to you about? That is your overarching message. But you can have different interests and talk about all of them. You can have a content pillar of any one of your interests, a different content pillar, a different content pillar. And inside of these are going to be very different content ideas where most people would pigeonhole themselves into one of these content pillars. It happens all the time. People are told to traditionally niche down, so they're going to pick one topic to keep talking about, and they wonder why they've burnt out. Or when they post a different piece of content, why nobody engages with that. It's because they're not the niche. You will be, though. This is with the three content pillars, and one of them will be your story. This is incredibly important, and I'll explain here in a little bit. Here's my example. Go ahead, take a snapshot of it. I really don't mind. So my ethos is that a personal brand is the most valuable long-term asset that you can build. So my content pillars read one, content, monetization, and mindset, right? These are very different. Most people would pigeonhole themselves into, I am a mindset creator. I want to just create about the mindset and discipline. Or they'll talk about content only. They'll talk about only making money and they'll be like a business coach. What I'm trying to say is that that grows tiresome with yourself and your audience. You can talk about different interests and all of these ideas will look very different from one another, right? So you have your content strategy, storytelling, execution, which is scripting, filming, editing. I talk about that, but I also talk about discipline and growth. And your story is so powerful because people naturally connect with struggle. People understand universally that these pains are going to be relevant to them. So when I talk about the fact that my personal branding journey has allowed me to go from poor to my family's first millionaire, me starting as an engineer and now being an entrepreneur, going from 0 to 5 million followers, that's my story. Is that clear in the sense where you all have this ultimate ethos, this message, this overarching brand mission, and you have different interests in which you can present that message with? You're not pigeonholing yourself into any one of these. Everyone understand that? Good, clear. I want to talk about the story component much more specifically, just because it is incredibly invaluable. Your story is where the most powerful content comes from. Your story is so incredibly important and attractive because people connect through your humanity, not your highlights. If you're somebody that's constantly flexing on people and you're wondering why nobody cares about you, it's because people don't care that you're rich, handsome, and successful. Everyone cares about the universal struggles and knowing that they can actually champion your story, right? Because you've started where they are currently are at. You get a chance to turn your pain into service and give your story a purpose, meaning, right? So the things that you might have hated the most about yourself, like for me, coming from a broken family, growing up poor, I hated those things about me. And now when I make content about that, I start to recognize that there are people all across the world that I'm telling them it's okay, that I see you, that I'm tending to you. And you can help others exactly how you are right now. You don't have to be somebody. You don't have to act like you're an expert. You can share your journey right now, and that's good enough to create valuable content. So if you've ever been through any one of these, right? If you've either gone through a breakup or had financial hardship or ever moved to a different country or stayed alone, if you've ever battled self-doubt or if you've ever burnt out or felt unseen in your family or teased or had to start over or felt lost and compared yourself to others, those are just nine of the millions of other pains universally that you can connect with. And I encourage you to recognize that you already are somebody. Your story means something, and it's important for us to cultivate content for it. Am I clear? Great. Now take a screenshot of this. I curated prompts for you to help you define your own ethos and message, your overarching brand mission. Now repeat with me once more. I am the niche. Once more, I am the niche. You're going to break my heart if at the end of this session, you're going to ask me questions about like, I am a fitness creator or I have two niches. How do I? You are the niche. You live and breathe your content. Cool. So let's talk about now what to post in winning content formats. So what makes a good format? There's three parts to it. First, this will be your hook. The first 3 seconds of your video will make or break the performance of it. Number two, the story. Is there a transformation? Is there a payoff? Which action should they take? And visuals. Do the visuals make your viewer feel something? Are they clear and framed well? These three elements, the reason why they come together to make a good format is because they increase watch time. They increase retention. I want you to do me a favor. And today, with your neighbor, your roommate, your partner, your family member, go and see how fast they're scrolling through their TikTok For You page and their Instagram Explore pages. It is fast, guys. It is fast. And you're competing with that scroll. And so if you can just make the first 3 seconds really good, you have a great opportunity for you to maximize upon your retention. Cool. So then how do you identify your winning format? Well, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You need to study other people's top performing formats. Format, not substance. I don't care that you're learning from a knitting creator. If they have a good visual text and audio hook, great. Learn from the knitting creator, even if you're a business person or a mindset coach or a parent. These are formats that are favorable algorithmically, okay? We're studying it from other top creators or top performing posts. So take a screenshot here. How do you study other people's winning format? Number one, you're going to find 3 other creators that you're inspired by. Number two, you're going to identify 3 of their top performers. I am going to repeat that once more, and you can screenshot this. Number one, find 3 other creators you're inspired by. Number two, identify 3 of their top performers. And for each of them, you're going to note down the following for each of these 9 posts that you've now collected. 3 creators and 3 of their top performers is going to give you a total of 9 videos. You're going to study their hook, their story, and their visuals. And we've actually done this in live sessions before in real time. And I have shown you, and I've also given you a resource. If you go in the Zoom window and you see the resources tab, I've even given you a recording to a previous live call where I go through these studying methods. And I showcase to you that every creator is studying formats. No one owns a format. Everyone owns a message, and that's what's unique to them. But everyone's utilizing split screens, voiceovers, vlogs. Everyone is utilizing narrative. Everyone is using carousels. Everyone is using talking head. Everyone uses the same formats, and they're utilizing the features that work the best. Am I clear? I study your format, June. Probably a good idea. Thank you, Chris. Am I clear on that in terms of what 3 elements that you're studying? Cool. Now, because I care about you and my job is to physically care for you and yours is to care for your audience, I have to make sure that you don't burn out. I do. I have to make sure that you can stay consistent, that you love what you do, and that you don't feel like this is too much. And how do I know that you can do this? I'm telling you right now, there's probably no one else in the world that's posted every single day for the last 5.5 years. I am the perfect person to tell you how to be consistent. I don't create every day, I post every day. And a big part of this is also understanding low intensity formats or low effort formats, right? Things that might not take you a lot of time. I want you to watch this piece of content. It has 11.9 million views. Mama's boy, mama's boy. Mama's boy, mama's boy. Most people that don't know what the heck they're talking about will say that that's a low quality piece of content. And I would tell them that you have no idea what you're talking about, right? Why? Because this piece of content took me about 15 minutes to make and it got 11.9 million views. Isn't that ideal? Isn't it? Isn't it ideal for you to maximize your time? A lot of you are very, very busy. A lot of you are. Probably every single one of you have other things to do. Why would you want to sit there every single day trying to create a piece of content for 10 hours every single day? I hate filming myself majority of the time. I don't want to sit there and edit content. What I'm trying to tell you is that low intensity content, when you get the format right, is incredibly powerful. I want to show you something marvelous here. Pay very close attention. This is marvelous. This is the exact same format that I've repeated to make it this blatantly clear for all of you. The exact same video, all I did was change the message. All I did was change what I was saying. Literally the exact same video. How to make money with $0 as a busy student versus how to study when you feel mentally tired. When I tell you that format is what is commonly thrown across content, I'm showing you blatantly what this looks like. Does it ever look this blatantly clear? No, but I'm trying to prove a point here. Formats are universal. Formats are what works constantly that every creator looks at. If you're going to try and play and actually make your content good and get a lot of views, you have to understand formatting. Even the simplest, most lowest intensity formats, when done right, like I've told you, it has a good hook, it has a good story, and it has a good visual. So it is a successful piece of content from a format standpoint. I'm going to show you another example that's blatantly obvious in terms of utilizing the same format. Okay, another low intensity one, by the way.
You tricked me. Tricked you? No, I saved you. You tricked me. Tricked you? No, I saved you. You.
The exact same video that is changing up the messaging. One is incredibly important for you to understand that format, even as simple as it could possibly be, is the reason why it is working on the algorithm. It is why it works on a platform. I don't own this format. Nobody owns this format. It's what every person does, right? And I'm trying to show you the most simplest example. Am I clear on that? In terms of if you have these three parts to your format, your hook, your story, and your visual, you can in fact make successful pieces of content. Here's the big one. So then how have I posted every day for 5 years without burning out? Well, it's because I rely on low intensity formats more often. Take a screenshot. I've done the hard work for you. Take a screenshot. If you are a smart creator, what will happen is you have to play to your longevity. My job is to care about you. I can't have you burn out and hate content creation. And therefore, throughout a week, if you're posting every single day, you should be posting 5 times low intensity or low effort content, and you should be posting 2 times higher effort or medium effort content. Now, you can take a screenshot of this and look at it right now. And you can take it. But I'm going to go through a ton of examples for you in real time. If you're a women's health coach, this is Sian McKeever, and I want to show you the difference between a high intensity and low intensity, or high effort or low effort, however you want to define them.
Here's how I went from being a miserable and depressed piece of shit to a happy, glowy, healthy human who actually loves her life again. Hooray! Turns out your mom was right, and exercising does help. If you have ovaries, I would highly recommend looking into cycle syncing. So depending on where I am in my cycle, I'll do different types of exercise and eat different types of food to help my body feel its best. With food, just avoid the processed stuff and you'll feel 10 times better. You know that saying, you are what you eat? Yeah, if you eat shit, you're gonna feel like shit. Surprise! When you have poor health, your hair shows for it. Honestly, it took me about a year to really balance my hormones and get my hair back. In combination with all the lifestyle changes I've made, my hair loss has definitely decreased, and using these hair oils has made a huge difference. About a year and a half ago, I removed my copper IUD, and I now use this natural temperature tracking device. Because your girl's not ready for babies, that's for sure. It's really sad that I have to say this, but go into nature. Get outside. I think you need to remember that we have all the tools available to us to help heal our bodies. The medicine you've been looking for has been here the whole time. In God, in nature, in you.
Here is a low intensity format. Here's what I'm going to say. There's a time and place to do high intensity. Why? Because if it hits, it'll hit big, meaning that the conversion rate to new followers will be significantly higher because there's great depth in it. But the reality of the matter is, if this is performing well, why would a creator not do a low intensity piece of content? Because someone else out there told you that it was about equipment, someone else told you out there that it was about aesthetics, that someone else out told you there it's about how great you are at editing. That's what people that don't know anything about content creation will tell you. It's more about message and format. Am I clear on that, everyone? I want you to realize you can win on social media without being so incredibly savvy with your phones or editing apps or having the best new camera out there. You don't need that. I still, to this day, post everything on my phone. Till this day, actually about like 2 years ago, I was still using a shattered iPhone 12. I mean it when I say low intensity formats can work just as much. Here's another example. If you're someone who gives financial advice,
today, I'm going to teach you how to get out of a financial slump. And before I dive in, I hope thousands of people get good with money, so what I'm about to share with you actually works. If you're stressed about money, it's not just because you don't make enough, it's actually because you don't even know where your money is going. That's why step one is what I call Money Clarity Day. Set up a timer for 30 to 60 minutes and review your spending, your income, and your goals, and then ask yourself, where did my money go last month? And what needs to change this month? Because remember, clarity reduces chaos and confidence comes from control. For step two, set 2 to 3 goals for the month. And this can be super simple stuff, like saving $200 for travel, paying off a credit card, or even investing $50. I want you to always remember that direction beats perfection, but also these small wins start to build big momentum. And now for step 3, I want you to reflect on those money wins. Write down 1 to 3 things you did right with your money this month. Maybe you found a new side hustle. Maybe you saved $100.
low intensity.
Tell me, baby, do you wanna Tell me, baby, do you wanna
What I'm here to tell you is that there's a time and place for both. What I'm saying is that you don't have to avoid the low intensity. I care about you. I don't want you to burn out. If that's the case, I need you to understand that low intensity pieces of content work just as well for your page. So I want to be very, very clear in terms of why I'm talking about low intensity and high intensity, because I don't want you to let production levels stop you from posting consistently. You have so much to offer regardless. And there was actually a really good question about somebody saying, does it really matter that we post every single day? What I'm here to tell you is that I want you to post consistently. If that means 4 times a week, 5 times a week, that's just fine. But my question to you is, why can't you do 7? Because someone else out there has convinced you that you have to do high intensity formats. I have done, and I'm telling you this, through my grandmother's sickness, through the fact that I was getting 2 dual degrees simultaneously, to running multiple $1 million businesses while still in school, while doing internships, while starting my medical company. Like every single one of those, I've been able to post every single day. I don't create every day, and that's the premise of today, right? If you want to like to post 4 or 5, that's fine. But I want you to understand that this is how you actually post consistently, okay? Now, probably one topic in which everyone loves to talk about, and I'm super excited for these next slides, creating scroll stopping hooks. What is a hook for those people that are very new? A hook is something you say, you do, or you show on screen in the first few seconds of your video to grab the viewer's attention and stop them from scrolling. Hooks can be spoken, it can be written, it can be audio, or it could be visual. In other words, your first 3 seconds are make or break. Again, if you do not believe me, go and watch the way that your partner, your mom, your brother, your sister, your friend scrolls through Instagram Explorer and TikTok For You page. It is rapid. It is so fast. And so if you can just increase the retention a little bit, you go a very far way. And that's where the first 3 seconds of your videos become incredibly important. Types of hooks. You can take a screenshot of this. I'm going to read each of them aloud, and then you can take a screenshot of the full entire slide. I'm giving you this, okay? Telling the viewer why you're an expert. I've been in the gym for over 10 years, and this is how I got my arms from this to this. Asking the viewer a question. Did you know that? What is the one gym machine you never use? Mine is this. A positive statement that resonates. This is the best healthy smoothie recipe I've ever tried. And here are 5 must-to-dos if you're visiting Japan. A negative or controversial statement. This may be an unpopular opinion, but I hate the rare beauty blushes. Don't make this content mistake. Referencing something the viewer recognizes. Let's recreate Sabrina Carpenter's makeup look. Let's try the viral 75 hard challenge. It's basically what is relevant for society at that period of time. People will garner familiarity with it. You can maximize on it, capitalize, and get that view. Target a specific audience. If you're a beginner in the gym, these are the key things you need to know. If I'm hearing that, I'm actually a beginner. I'm going to stop and listen to that. If you have sensitive skin, avoid these skincare products. Now I'm gonna go through hooks, and this will be really fun because I'm just gonna play the beginning portion of their video, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like when it does the correct hook and when it doesn't have a hook.
Here are 5 of the biggest mistakes you're making when it comes to keeping your space clean. You're probably not making a stovetop potpourri. This simple addition is going to make your space smell nice, and it's a chemical-free alternative to conventional air fresheners. You're not cleaning your drains, which is...
Let's hear this hook.
Here are 5 of the biggest mistakes you're making when it comes to keeping your space clean.
Here are 5 of the mistakes that you're probably making when it comes to keeping your house clean. Great negative hook. Let's say that it didn't have that hook. Let's say what the video would actually turn out to be.
Not making a stovetop potpourri. This simple addition is going to make your space smell nice, and it's a chemical-free alternative to...
Is that very, very clear in regards to the difference between when you have that negative hook and it immediately makes your video more engaging versus without that hook, and we go into it and you start off with the video that way? It's the difference between literally 3 seconds, but you're putting that hook knowing that these people may not be followers, that they want to feel something in your content. You're making sure that it happens. All right, now we'll do another one, targeting the viewer's pain point. These are all spoken hooks.
You're not ugly, you just don't know how to style your curls.
One more.
You're not ugly, you just don't know how to style your curls.
You're not ugly, you just don't know how to style your curls. She's targeting the viewer's pain point, right? She's telling this piece of content for the person behind the screen that doesn't know how to style their curls. Versus if she just started off with the beginning of this video.
First things first, Avi, we need a good shampoo and conditioner. And after that...
Does that make sense? Of how it immediately makes a difference. That hook is meant to bring in these non-followers. These people are trying to garner interest to people that are watching their piece of content. Versus a lot of people don't have that context. A lot of people don't have the hook, and people will be like, step 1, and they'll go straight into it, right? And the difference is jarring, right? It's crazy the amount of difference by just adding a 2 to 3 second hook. Here's another spoken hook, asking the viewer a question.
Have you been looking for a font that's both traditional and modern? Well, I think I've got what you're looking for. Today is Free Font Friday, where I'm sharing a free font every single Friday. On the list, we've got a... Have you been looking for a font that's both traditional and modern? Well, I think I've got what you're looking for. Today is Free Font Friday, where I'm sharing a free font that's both traditional.
Have you ever been looking for a font that's traditional and modern? Asking your viewer a question, meaning that if they did feel that way, which is a common thought for a lot of creatives, you're going to want to stick around for that video. Versus, let's say we started right after that.
Font Friday, where I'm sharing a free font every single Friday. On the list, we've got a sharp serif font that is inspired by old lettering, and this type features long serifs.
Does that make sense?
I'm sharing a free font every single Friday.
You're basically going from saying on the list and going straight into the video versus trying to speak to your audience, tending to them, nurturing them, telling them, I'm here, I understand you, I want to make a piece of content that's invaluable for you. Does that make sense? Why was the first one a negative hook? Hear how he is positioning it.
Here are 5 of the biggest mistakes you're making when it comes to keeping your space clean.
5 of the biggest mistakes that you're making when keeping your house clean. He doesn't say, here's some great cleaning tips, right? He doesn't say that. He doesn't do it a positive way. He says the negative way. Here are the 5 greatest mistakes, right? Does that make sense in terms of why that's a negative hook? All right, cool. Let's look at visual hooks now. First one is an unusual camera angle.
You don't gotta say anything. We can take our time. What's the rush? You can bring a friend, girl. I'm your judge. You know I'm
This is a top-down shot, probably with a C-stand, but most people are not filming in this way. So what happens when you're scrolling through? It's a pattern disruptor, right? It looks different visually, so immediately there's thought to you that maybe I should stick around and watch this. There's a natural curiosity that's sparked, and you want to close that curiosity gap so you'll stay retained. Eye-catching visual next. I agree, that song is phenomenal.
Oh my God. And it smells so good. I did it. Let's see if this is actually.
There's two parts to this.
Oh
Right here, eye-catching visual.
my God. And it smells so good.
Boom, right there. Another, well, we did that in Synergy. I don't know if that was live for you guys, but I felt like that was spot on. But that is an eye-catching visual. There's something happening moving on screen. A third one of doing an activity while talking.
You don't want to study? That's fine. Just imagine your kids looking at the menu prices before they order, and just imagine your parents working for the rest of their lives. Worst, you don't want to study? That's fine. Just imagine your kids looking at the menu prices before they order, and just imagine your parents working for the rest of their lives. Worst of all, imagine a man.
There's two separate hooks that she's doing. One is that she's asking a question. You don't want to study? She's talking about then the negative hook, right? In regards to here's some of the bad things that are going to happen. But she's also doing an activity while talking. This is also called Pope in the Pool, but the premise is simple. There are two in parallel visuals that are happening, right? One is she's talking and she's telling you that there's something that's going to happen, but also you're going to want to know why she's cutting the apple, right? You're going to want to follow along with that payoff, that transformation. It's the same idea of drinking a cup of coffee or making a cup of coffee or knitting something or making something or doing your makeup. You're doing something in real time and it serves as a separate hook in addition to what you're saying. Am I clear on what visual hooks can look like for your page? Good. Now let's look at text hooks. Targeting the viewer's pain point. I can't afford to invest in my health. A common thought that a lot of people have, thinking that perhaps fitness is extremely expensive, and in a lot of regards it is. But in this case, he's trying to showcase, hey, I understand your pain. Let me go ahead and make a piece of content that solves it, right? Another one, this is probably one of the most important ones for a lot of you. Most people, especially if you are really interested in the beauty space, if you're really interested in the fashion space, and you're a stylist, for example, you will do these aesthetic clips back to back and you wonder why nobody cares. And it's like, why would I care? Like, why, when I could do one swipe away and I'll see somebody in a very different outfit that's just as unique? You have to give it context. So this one reads, I know it's very small, so I'm going to read it for everyone. It says, one thing about me is I'm always going to add a pop of pink. Now, when you watch that, you're going to be focused on the pink. Pink, pink, pink. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, right? When you give it context and you're not just leaving it to be visuals without any type of message on top, you're providing significantly less retention. But if you can provide some context, it immediately is like, oh, cool, like I get it. I know what I'm looking for in this piece of content. A third one, more visually dynamic.
Things that I think make someone 10 times cooler for no specific reason and in no specific order. Number one, know more than 2 languages. Things that I think make someone 10 times cooler for no specific reason and in no specific order. Number one, know more than 2 languages. I say more than 2 because I speak English. Things that I think.
This is more intensive. These are overlays that are happening. Now, people sometimes like this, some people don't like it, but the whole reality is that there's something populated on screen effectively. So someone says, what about faceless accounts? In all honesty, this is like being pure honest. We do not work with any faceless accounts. It is a very different strategy, and it is personally not something I'm a fan of. I think it's so much more powerful to build a personal brand to tell your story and effectively reach and leave an impact. And so if you are a faceless account, it's totally okay for you to leave right now, right? Like this session wouldn't be for you. It's all about personal branding and being able to effectively tell your story. It doesn't mean that you have to, showcase and talk in every single one of your videos and tell your most vulnerable stories, but it is to say that this is a personal brand and this is how business is headed. This is how entrepreneurship is headed. This is how creative works are headed. They're all personal branding people, all people that have audiences that are interrupting every single market. That's what I'm trying to teach here. But do these three hooks mean something? Okay. So does this mean something to you where you're saying you're targeting the viewer's pain point, giving context to the content, and also more visually dynamic? Good. Great. And you have the opportunity to stack these types of hooks. So you can stack a spoken hook with a visual hook and with a text hook. Am I clear? Does that make sense before I show you two examples in which we can do some more interactive element here? Cool. This is a student that I've worked with. His name is Arian. He's a Stanford student. Let's watch his content before he was working with me.
Had the most insightful conversation with a complete stranger.
First way that it can be improved is if he added more context. For example, day in my life building a six-figure business as a full-time student at USC. Let's look at how much more powerful that piece of content would be. Number one, this is going to target young entrepreneurs. This could also potentially target students and also people at USC. Immediately, he's providing his video context. Second way, he could add a voiceover. For example, he could still make this humorous because he has a great personality when I had met him. But he could do something along the lines of, I woke up at 4 a.m. for the very first time and I'll never do it ever again, right? Or I had woken up at 4 a.m. and here's what I've learned. Or I woke up at 4 a.m. and it really didn't make me any more productive, right? He could have had a narrative where he goes over his entire day in premise. Does that make sense of how you can add more context and add a voiceover, and immediately there's going to be more stacking of hooks and it could effectively make this piece of content more successful? Here's another creator that I've personally worked with. His name is China. Let's watch. So this video is the prototypical example of people that are in that space where they're stylists, right? But they're horrible at making content because there's no context, right? These are just really cool visuals together. And yes, aesthetic, but it means nothing. So he can add context. Maybe he said something along the lines of going to grab coffee as an excuse to show off my outfit, meaning that you're giving my eyes something to pay attention to. Creating a visual hook. He could create a dynamic edit in the start. Imagine if you walked into screen and a text below came down, right? Maybe that was the edit. Or maybe it was the same thing of the lines of he was shaking the camera, or he was doing something dynamically or jumping into frame. There could be a visual hook to match it alongside the context. It would have effectively been a better piece of content. Now, here's my additional bonus. Go take a screenshot. I just gave you a step-by-step formula to making your hook. And I don't have to duck down this time, so every single one of you can take a photo right now of this formula and utilize it for yourselves. Cool. You're going to identify audience pain or desire. You're going to spark curiosity, use emotion or tension, and keep it short and strong.